worst habits you can have as a reader is to be a snob, right? Sometimes I find myself reluctant to pick something up because it's really popular. And I catch myself doing this. I'll find myself reluctant to read something.
All right, thank you very much. Good evening to everyone here, except that we have someone joining in from Europe. It's most likely not evening there. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Olamide. I can see Mr. Olamide. Good evening, Stella. Good evening to you. Patricia Flourish. Good evening to you. Mr. Olatunji Femi Fikayo, our wonderful guest and literature and English expert. You're highly welcome, sir. And of course, Everything Literature, whoever bears that tag, we welcome you. You're highly welcome. Okay, yes, we now have a special guest and a beautiful English teacher, a teacher of English language, in person of Miss Ronke Adebowale. I think she's gone off again. Okay. We also have our beautiful and wonderful guest also, uh, a teacher of literature and English par excellence, person of Miss Gbemisola Olukotun. You're highly welcome to the show. We appreciate your presence. I would like Miss Olukotun to unmute. I just want to hear your voice. It's very important for progress. So, Olukotun, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. I'm so happy now. Yes. Mr. Olatunji, sir, please can you unmute and just let me hear that baritone that will take us there today.
Good evening,
So excited to hear you.
educators and scholars. I salute thee.
It's so great to have you on the call. Thank you very much for joining in. All right. I want to appreciate Everything Literature for the privilege to moderate tonight's meeting. And of course, we know the reading is still the weekly based discussion. And of course, it's brought to us by Everything Literature Limited. And today, we're looking at something really, really crucial. It's themed reading culture, and we are looking at it as something that is so important, especially for this year. So it has a sub theme that says a year rooted in reading grows deep understanding. That's more or less a saying, more or less a maxim with which we can run this year and run it more productively. All right. Without further ado, we are seeing a picture on the screen. I so much love the fact that this picture tells us more than we can see, or tells us more than we can ever read. A pile of books and a tree on it, showing us that anyone who can read can definitely grow and be productive. Of course, I want to say that I want to really welcome again everyone. Good day and welcome to another episode of our weekly text-based discussion for 2026. I say again that's hosted by Everything Literature. We're excited to have you join us for today's session, which is reading culture. Let's begin. All right. We have, of course, displayed on the screen opening and reflection. So I'm going to be asking people randomly, especially our special guests, what does reading culture truly mean to you beyond reading for exams? What does reading culture truly mean to you beyond reading for exams? I think I would like to hear the man with the baritone first on this. What does it mean to you, Mr. Olatunji?
Thank you very much. Good evening once again. I'm so honored to be here tonight again. Reading culture to me as an individual is an habit that we cultivate for a very long time. It's an habit. I mean, it's a habit we cultivate that we show, that we practice, that we acquire. Let me put it that way, for a very long time, and it's an habit we have that that deals with engaging with text for knowledge, not only knowledge for pleasure or some personal growth, but the main thing there is that reading culture happens for a very long time. It doesn't have a stoppage. It has to be practiced all day long. Even if it is possible for us when we get to heaven, we can continue reading. So it's something we cultivate within ourselves, and then we ensure that it lasts for all the days of our life.
Wow. Wow. Mr. Olatunji, thank you very much for that. I love that hyperbole, so to speak, that even if even if we get to heaven,
Actually,
that if it is possible, we keep reading when we get to heaven. That speaks a volume of the importance of a reading culture. Wow, reading all the time. I pick the word habits, and a habit is something that you have formed over time and has become part and parcel of you, and you will do it naturally without any intentional or deliberate push. You just do it. Oh, thank you very much for that. Maybe I should go straight to. Let me ask Madam Gbemisola, what do you think? What does reading culture truly mean to you beyond reading for exams? Ms. Gbemisola, please. Okay. If Ms. Gbemisola is not Ms. Gbemisola Olukotun is not available for now, maybe I should throw it to the house. Anyone has something to say about reading beyond reading for exam, reading culture? We know that when we prepare for exams, of course, one of the ways to plan is to or set goals is to, like we discussed, have a SMART goal, which will mean that you have a schedule that is realistic, and you have a time on it, and of course that could make you return from time to time to your books because you have a schedule. But apart from reading for exams, what does reading culture actually mean? Any other person? You can just indicate by raising your hand if you want to talk or you want to share with us. Okay, in the absence of any, I would allow that to pass at this time.
sorry, can I
Okay.
say something, sir?
All right, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, is I can say reading culture is like adding value to one particular belief. You know, the reading is beyond academics. Is acquisition of knowledge, and
Mm.
if we can see how the successful men and women are preaching uh, the value of reading culture, we will see that reading is not just something that we can overemphasize. It's very, very important in day-to-day life. So for us to acquire knowledge, for us to know the way, for us to succeed, even financially, we need reading culture. And as I said earlier, it is a lifelong thing. We need to acquire, we need to make it innate forever, even when you die. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for that additional insight into what reading culture truly is. So you can look at it in both ways. In the area of self-discipline, and then in the area of impartation. Reading culture is something we can also inculcate in our students, because of course, like the video that played while we were waiting for the meeting to begin, that speaker mentioned that reading really helps us to understand life from different perspectives, and this is why we cannot be stuck on only academic materials that helps us to pass exams. All right, thank you very much again. So can you recall a book or reading experience that shaped your thinking or life direction? Oh, Mr. Olamide's hand is raised. Beautiful. You can unmute and speak. Go ahead, sir. Thank you very much. Nice to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Miss Aroworade. I hope you can hear me clearly, please.
Loud and clear, sir.
Okay. Yeah, a big shout out to Mr. Fikayo for his opinion. I just wanted to chip in the fact that if we take a look at the two words that we're looking at, reading and culture, I believe majority of us were lower primary or upper primary level. We did a bit of social studies and we're taught culture. And if I can remember right from my primary school days, we were taught that culture refers to a way of life. So reading culture, if we're just going to simply put it, has to do with a lifestyle whereby reading, the act of reading, has become a norm. And the culture, some of the things we were taught while we were in school happens to be table manners and all of that. And one of those things that happens to be the bedrock to language acquisition and all that happens to be literacy skills. And it was something that we learned over time. So it's just that over time, or should I say more recently, it is a lifestyle that it's not becoming part of us anymore. No, that's just what I wanted to chip in. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Olasa, if you don't mind, can you just tell us one reading experience that really shaped your thinking of or life direction? If you don't mind, can you just share with us one of such, if you can remember any for now?
Oh yeah. Once again, thanks for the opportunity to share my experience on that. Excuse me, please.
No,
so
you're welcome.
If it's a book, one book I don't think I can forget anytime soon happens to be John Maxwell's The 360-Degree Leader. You get now.
Wow.
So
that's a great book. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
It really helped shape my understanding about a lot of things and the different kind of leadership stuff that we can have. But aside that, the reading experience that really shaped my thinking or life direction happens to be immediately after, should I say, secondary school? Yeah, my secondary school then, of which I was still planning to write my JAM, get admission into an institution. So my cousin and I, we just thought about it that instead of just sitting idle, though we are graduates already, we can volunteer to teach. And we would not just teach primary level, we would go ahead and teach those in senior secondary school as far as SS3. So someone who just finished SS3, who wants to volunteer to just go and guide and share opinion with junior colleagues who are also in SS3? So in order not to disgrace our generation or to disgrace my family. So I remember back then we would literally read from say 11 p.m. in the night till 5 a.m. in the morning with just
Wow.
jug of water. So by the time I get to stand in front of I wouldn't call them student then because they're just like colleagues and just I was opportune to be ahead of them. There was literally no textbook that they want to show that okay I've read this. So I just yeah, are you making reference from so, and this? So that was really a reading experience that shaped my life, and the take home knowledge from that or take home fact from that is that whatever you read you own, and there is no thief in this life that can steal it away from you. It's just yours.
Wow.
So, and it really helped by the time I got into our institution because I think my first year in school and all that, it was more or less like, most lecturers were having a revision of some fundamental, year one in uni, it's always like a kind of revision and all that. Yeah, thank you very much.
Wow. Fantastic. 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 Whatever you read, you own. Whatever you read, you own, and no one can take it from you. Wow. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much, sir, for that. I had a similar experience growing up. Immediately after WAEC, I was to take JAMB exam, and then I found myself teaching JAMB students. A JAMB candidate teaching JAMB students in a particular tutorial then, and it was just almost the same situation. I would not want to disgrace myself, of course, so I read virtually everything about that topic, and it really helps me. And I think this justifies that common paradox that we use, that if the best way to learn something is to teach it. I think it justifies it. Meanwhile, you cannot teach or you cannot even give what you do not have. Thank you very much. All right. So the second question, reading in today's context. Reading in today's context. So in an age of short videos and fast content, why is sustained reading still essential for learners? In an age of short videos and fast content, why is sustained reading still essential for learners? I think I want to begin with Ms. Olukotun, if she's still here with us. Ms. Olukotun, are you around? Are you here? It's Gbemisola Olukotun. Are you there with us? Okay. If Ms. Gbemisola is not here with us, it's not on the call yet. Can we have someone from the audience just share what you think? Can I call on Olawale Olagoke if you're here? You want to share with us what you think? Do you think sustained reading is still important despite the dominance of short videos or video contents? That gives us the knowledge that you would have gotten from reading texts. What do you think?
Hello.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
That's quite an interesting question. I think the short videos and reading, they end up serving different purposes. The reason why I said so is short videos just helps, with instant dopamine, where you get really excited about something once and you can move on to the next one as fast as possible. And you get served about 10, 15, 20 of these videos at once. Afterwards, you can barely remember the last thing you watched. So, meanwhile, with reading, you're concentrating on just one single thing. It takes time And with that, what happens is there is more brain development. There are research about reading and how that helps with developing the brain, how that helps with improving one's vocabulary, how that helps, puts one into the worldview of the writer, depending on the kind of book you're reading at the time. So I would see reading as a more long-term activity as against short videos. And I think that is why reading is very important, especially now in this generation that is filled with a lot of short, fast content.
Wow. Wow. Thank you very much, Mr. Olagoke. I'm so glad that you even mentioned the fast dopamine syndrome. Wow. Because when you watch videos, of course, you learn some things that cognitive development takes place in a way, but it's not thorough. The brain itself has a way of getting its strength and has a way of developing when you sustain reading. When you are sustained on a particular and fixed on a particular material, you read for a longer time, you get used to more vocabularies. You probably want to go and check quickly in your dictionary to improve. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. That makes so much sense, especially in today's context. I see your hand raised. Okay, that's Mr. Olamide's. Please, you can unmute and share your thoughts on this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you once again, Mr. Aroworade, and a big shout out to the contributor, Mr. Olagoke, I guess. What I just want to quickly check in is what I consider as the concept of constipation of knowledge. So we live in an age whereby we have access to a lot of things at the same time. That if we don't get to filter, we'll be accumulating a lot of things at the same time.
Sir, it looks like you're already even touching on. In fact, I like the fact that you're mentioning this already, because it's already touching on how digital media changed students' reading habits, whether for better or for worse. I think you're already touching on that. You can just go ahead, sir.
Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
So the concept of constipation of knowledge came as a kind of research idea to me some years ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago. And I see through that, as much as so many things, Instagram is there, TikTok is there, YouTube is there, different channels whereby you can see as a go-to platform to get knowledge. But it cannot be compared to sustained reading. Why? Because they can easily lead to constipation of knowledge. You are imbibing a lot of things at the same time, but your brain cannot process everything all at once and is trying to figure out, okay, where should I start from? Which one should I take first? But in a sustained reading, that is, you pick up a book, a concentrated effort of, let's say, 30 to 1 hour on just one book, page by page, your brain is able to say, okay, this is where I need to focus on. This is where I need to get the best. And I would quickly like to use the analogy of photography. In photography, for instance, if you want to get the best shot, you need to have sustained momentum, or how should I describe it now, whereby you need to focus on your subject. You can't be moving. I don't think photographers move around when they want to have their best shot. So whatever is being important has to be sustained, requires more of attention, more of focus. So likewise, sustained reading as well. That is why it is essential for learners, because your brain, should I just say the 5 senses, sense organs are involved all at once. And back to the analogy of constipation of knowledge, this time around, you're not just trying to feed on so many things at the same time, feeding on one thing, and you're trying to extract every possible nutrient out of that one factor. So, yep, thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you very much. That's Mr. Ola there, um, giving us world-class insight into the issue of inhibiting reading, or the reading culture, the reading habits, um, because of the presence and the dominance and the prevalence of short videos. Here, sharing with us how, in the analogy of a photographer, of photography itself, that you cannot get your best shot when you are not focused on a single material. I think that complements what Mr. Olagoke has said earlier. Thank you very much for sharing that. That's a brilliant contribution. Okay. Well, I how has digital media changed students' reading habits for the better or for the worse? I want to at this point welcome Mrs. Ronke Adebowale. You are highly welcome. You can unmute and just show that you're here now. You're here with us fully. You're welcome, ma.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening to everyone in the house. I'm
Good evening
sorry
to
for
you.
joining late. I've had some engagements, but I just
No
had to
problem.
round up on those just to join. I'm happy to be here. Thank you
No
for
problem at all.
welcoming me.
You're fully welcome. You don't need to mute again. It's a no landing one for you. Here we have a pending discussion. Almost wrapping up, anyways. How has digital media changed the students' reading habits? Has it done that for better, or has it changed it for worse? What do you think?
Oh, well, I would say, as much as I think I would like to look at the positive aspects, I wouldn't
All right.
say it has done worse, but rather it has enhanced their study habits because with the use of social media now, students are able to access beyond just one material. They are able to reach out, they're able to access as many material concerning a topic, they're able to read far and wide, they are able to get information at their fingertips, which they ordinarily might have struggled to get. So social media, for those students who know how to harness the good of social media, I think it's been working well for them. Students are able to participate in their reading actively. They're able to see beyond the limitation of the four walls of a classroom. They're able to do better research. They're able to make positive use of this social media. Now, again, for those that I know that are actually making good use of it, I find that they are able to rub off positively on their friends because social
Wow.
media, it's kind of I'm trying to say, okay, social media kind of brings study alive. It
Mm.
kind of gives it a kind of life,
Mm.
makes it permit me to use the word bubbling. So study for
Mm.
them using social media is quite exciting, especially with the use of several materials right now. We have colors, we have animation, we have near real life objects projected
Wow.
in the study material. So I think it's kind of quite encouraging. It is quite exciting. Even we, the teachers, beyond the students, we enjoy the benefits that social media offer us as regards to study and reading habits. So I think it's a good one. Thumbs up. We should explore it more. And we should encourage our students to explore the use of social media more in their study. All right. Thank you for
Wow.
that.
Wow. Wow. Thank you very much, Mrs. Adebowale. That's a very
It,
deep.
it, it seems as if Miss Ronke is the advocate for the Gen Zs.
I was going to
Let's
say
say
that
that again.
I was really going to say it's the first time someone will really should I say, robustly advocate and look at the positive side of, or the positive influence of social media on the reading habit of students. And I want to say that, or maybe I should just share, recently, that was last week, Thursday, I shared with my students some video materials on that novel, To Kill a Mockingbird. And it was just something, yes, the animation, they were so excited to watch and to see. I did not have a projector, but I learned to use what I have. So I used my laptop, made everywhere look a little dark so that there could be concentration. And after watching, I ran an evaluation, and I was able to inspire 63% of the class. Now they want to know more. Now they want to read. They want to know more. And I after asking questions, it was a YouTube channel where I got a video from, and I just played it to them. YouTube is a social media handle. So social media, when we talk about short videos or social media, social contents, let's be specific, and let's deconstruct the idea, the general or universal use of that statement, because some of them are really, really helpful, actually. However, we know, of course, WhatsApp, other chat sites that takes away the attention of our students. We cannot ignore the limitations of all these sites and the evils they pose to our children and their reading habits. Mr. Olamide, you have your hands raised. It must be that you want to say something to conclude this segment for us.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Aroworade. I didn't drop my hands since I raised it all the time. Well, just to quickly keep
All right, go
thoughts on this. Well, I think it has done both. Digital media has changed student reading habits for the better and for the worse. So for the worst part of it is in the aspect of attention span. So if there is no audiovisual platform,
Yes, audiovisual.
can they still pay attention? I mean, just pay attention to it. Okay. So the attention span aspect is where it has affected for the worst, but for the better, we cannot take away the fact that there can be a bit of generational bias in this matter, because for the likes of Wole Soyinka, Niyo Shundaris, and possibly some of us who are still millennials, we may want the digital media has really affected them. I remember the days when I usually go to the library, I'll read James Ali Chase, I'll read this and that, and hard copies, cover to cover, this and that. That was our own bragging, right? But for them now, it's different. They have something that can engage both their visual, their audio, and for a well-rounded educator, or should I say the teacher, can even encourage them that, hello, we've watched this movie so that it can motivate you to read the hard copy, and just find it a reward system for them so that whosoever is able to finish up this gets this. So that will be an all-round knowledge for them. Because I think yesterday, or was it 2 days ago, I was having a conversation with some of my students, and well, I just asked them for, we're talking about figures of speech and all that, and one of them mentioned anachronism. And I said, okay, if you're going to mention a figure of speech, you need to make reference to it. And the best way the students could help out was by making reference to a movie, DC Legends of the Tomorrow. The student mentioned, and I'm not really a movie person, so I had to listen. And truth be told, the student was able to explain anachronism. Why? Because he said in this movie, anachronism as a concept was the brain behind it, and it has to do with you leveraging on old characters in modern age. So more or less like you putting William Shakespeare in today's age. How well you get now, and the way to explain
Yes.
anachronism perfectly you get now. So I would say digital media, yeah, has changed their reading habit, yeah, for good and for bad. But let's stick with Miss Ronke's view, who is the advocate for the Gen Z. You know, and it has done more better than was.
Thank you very much. We really need to move on right now. Thank you for that a bit of pedagogy there. That insight, it will serve as a panacea for that teacher, that one teacher out there listening, who is finding it hard or to find the balance between online contents and actual reading habit, or inspiring their children, to imbibe that reading habit or reading culture. Thank you very much once again. Now let's look at classroom and school practice. We have three questions here, but I'd like us to take two. Of course, the first one: what practical strategies can teachers use to build a strong reading culture in junior and senior secondary schools? So I'm going to give this to Mr. Olatunji Femi. I've given you enough time to catch your breath properly, and I really want you to tell us what practical strategies can teachers use to, build a strong reading culture in junior and senior secondary school students. Please, you can unmute and talk if you are disposed to share with us.
All right. Good evening once again. I
You're welcome,
appreciate
sir.
everyone who has been speaking all day. I have really learned a lot tonight. Yes, as a professional teacher, we ourselves really need to work on ourselves first before we could encourage our students to imbibe this particular culture of reading that we are talking about. We ourselves, we must demonstrate that culture, and the students must know that yes, our teacher likes reading. I think
That
that is
must be
very
modeling. I'm sure
yes,
you're talking about
modeling,
modeling.
exactly,
Fantastic. All
modeling. I
right.
love that. Then that is aside. While in the classroom or generally as a teacher, we need to tell our students to, if they do not have a time set aside for reading, we have to tell them that, okay, at this social time, you guys should drop whatever you want to do and read. Give them time, let them read, and let them come and interpret whatever they have read. Can collect their phone. If there's a way of doing that, collect their phones, do this and do that. You guys read this particular part of the. We can even hold one particular book that is general. We can hold the book. We can tell them now open your own copy to this page. These people on this row and this column, you have to read this particular part of the book. You on this row, you have to read this particular part of the book, and you are the ones to do what? To teach us this particular aspect of reading. That's okay. That one we definitely increase and motivate them to read. That aside, and then I think we could. One thing I do, or one thing a senior colleague of mine did sometime, was like a punishment for a child who misbehaves in class. He would do
Mm. Mm.
he would do a book review.
Mm.
And the book is not
Wow.
just one novella or novelette. No, it's a novel, as in big one. Okay, read this book. This is your punishment.
Wow.
You don't want to read. I know you as a very weak student. I know you don't like reading, and still you went ahead to do what, to offend me in class, or you misbehave in my class. Then take this book, review it. I know many of them will want to be, behaving normal in class, but seeing that there is a way a teacher can still do that, not as punishment, but one side of it is punishment. We can use that as a habit. We can develop that particular habit also. Then we should have said something about we modeling ourselves as a very good reader. Yeah, that's, and then
Yes, sir.
we should set time
Yes,
for
sir.
the students, and then we can use it as a punishment. Then
Thank you very much.
I think that will be all for now. I can't.
Wow, wow, wow,
Yes.
wow. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Olatunji Femi.
Thank you.
Well, I love that arrangement. Yeah, you started off with modeling, yes, which is very important. Our students need to be motivated. You know, in this age and time, as Mr. Ola had shared earlier, that there's a kind of disparity between the people or students of the previous age or ages and now. Talking about the contemporary age where students are even seeing that you can make wealth without even having to read anything. All you need to do is just learn some skill. Just in the age of tech and whatever, and even the Yahoo age, you you hardly would find a student who really believes that readers are leaders actually. But we have said that teachers need to model. We need to model. We need to show that truly you can do it, irrespective of the volume of the book, you can. And we also need to, according to him, set clear instructions. Give clear instructions to the students. Do this, you do that, you do this. Assign roles to the students. Let them, give them reading tasks. With that, they find themselves doing it. And he also touched on the fact that we can use this as a way of punishment. Both of them are punishment and reward are both ways of reinforcement. Well, while some people would oppose that idea, that it could be psychologically inadequate, well, I still feel that it actually helps in a way because knowledge itself stays there irrespective of how it is acquired. But that does not annul the importance of reading for pleasure. I think we need to emphasize that we need to be able to motivate our students to read for pleasure, because a student, especially a student of literature, who cannot read for pleasure will find it difficult to, do actual analysis. Now, especially in this age where our students rely on commentaries rather than reading the original text. Thank you very much once again, Mr. Olatunji Femi. I think I want to move straight to the next question. I'm trying to enhance. Okay, so literature and critical thinking. Literature, language, literature, and critical thinking. How does consistent reading improve language skills, comprehension, and writing ability? How does consistent reading improve language skills, comprehension, and writing ability? I think I want to give this to Mr. Ola. I want you to start to tell us, actually, enumerate ways by which consistent reading can improve language skills. Of course, we know the language skills that we have, the comprehension and ability to write well. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, I hope you can hear me clearly, please.
Yeah, clearly, sir.
Okay, once again, I am very sorry if my voice is sounding funny. Just accept me.
If it were not online, I would have given you probably online Baba Blue or something. Well,
thank you. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me start by answering the second question, in what ways does exposure to prose, poetry, and drama deepen student emotional intelligence and critical thinking? Because from critical thinking, then it's going to improve their language skills, comprehension, and all that.
Okay.
I've always been a big fan of language and literature based on the fact that the two interrelate. Language is the vehicle which we use for communication, and literature is just how we can get to use language in a more creative way and in a more critical assessment. So, how does consistent reading, how does exposure to this do that? Well, one of it is the fact that vocabulary development obviously is one of them. When you read, you're more exposed to new choice of words. You get to see new lexicons, should I say, and how they are being strings together. Okay. Another one is in the place of idiomatic expressions. You get, but you can only get to understand more of it, more idiomatic expression, which actually beautifies your speaking or your communication skills, because you get to know that, I'm only pulling your legs, I'm all over the moon. When students get to know that, these are actually figurative expressions that come up, then they know that, I am not just speaking.
I'm glad you're already telling us in what ways it can improve their emotional intelligence and even critical thinking. Yes, thank you very much. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Exactly. So, for poetry, for drama and prose, one of the ways it has really helped, students that I've worked with, happens to be in place of reading script. For instance, when we have some short playlets to act, you get now, they get to practice, memorize the manuscript, and by the time they're speaking, as little as intonation and the control of language in terms of, okay, this is the best way you say it, this is how best you can put it. So gradually it is improving their language skills. For instance, let me quickly mention this actor, Matthew McConaughey, if I'm correct with the pronunciation of his surname, happens to be a Grammy Award winner. He gave I think his Grammy speech happens to be, if not the best, but one of the best till date. You get now. And one of the reasons why he is able to give that is because he is a consistent reader. In fact, he is a friend to Ryan Holiday, like the video we were in, the video we played before, So
Okay.
there is no way you would see someone who reads consistently. When they speak, you see the difference. And last but not the least, what I would like to say is in the aspect of confidence building. So I've seen students who are shy in my class, and by the time I say, "Oh, you're going to study Africa, my Africa, Africa of Proud Savannah," and something, you know that poem, or maybe it's night by Wale Soyinka, night, your hand is heavy upon my brow, this and this, or is it the favorite of my student happens to be Still Arise, does my sexiness offend you? Does it come to you as, those choice of words just get to give a psychological boost to them. And this is just part of what consistent reading does. Consistent exposure to the right materials. The way they speak gets to be different. You will just know that, okay, this person is not just going to school, but school is going through the person. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you very much for that detailed explanation on how poetry, prose, drama, reading, and consistent reading of any kind of literature improves language skills, comprehension, emotional intelligence, and even critical thinking. I thank you very much, sir. One major thing that you mentioned uh, that is crucial to this discussion is the fact that when you read, you tend to understand things beyond what you already know, and that level of comprehension already inspires you. You're stronger, you're confident when you speak, and even when you write, when you express yourself in writing, it's different. Thank you, sir, for that. I want to go straight quickly to OMA and community influence. Um, First question says, how important is parental involvement in sustaining reading culture, and how can schools encourage it? So it looks like a double barrel question here. How important is parental involvement in sustaining a reading culture, and how can schools encourage it? So we're looking at two different social entities here, but parents and school. I think I'll leave that for Mrs. Adebowale Ronke. Ma, you have the floor.
Sir, okay. Um, okay, let me start with the parents' involvement, right?
Yes, please.
Now, it gives me great joy to tell you that my first hero of reading was actually my father.
Wow.
Yes, my father was such a good reader that so much so that passers-by would always pass by my house and look up to see who was reading. My father wasn't
Wow.
just reading to himself or to his family, he would read out loud. Like you would
Wow.
think you're listening to a radio station until you look up and you see the person truly reading. So that's
Wow.
made me to develop a kind of love for reading. Like it sounded so well. Now, what I'm trying to say is that parents need and must be actively involved. They must be, or we must be, should I say we now? Because it's right.
Because you are involved.
Yes, we must be actively involved. It's a
Mm.
culture, it is a habit. And the first place they must learn this is at home. This is charity begins at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
The parents need to be actively involved, not just passively involved. I used to have this family friends. Their mother was an illiterate, stuck one. But these children never got to know until they became adults because their mother was actively involved. All she needed to do was to bring their notes, tell them, bring your notes, and she check out the dates and check out the red pen marking, whether it is like the correct, that's correct marking, or the X, which means you're wrong. And once she finds that there is an X, maybe maybe you do a work of 10, and out of the 10, 6 correct, 4 wrong. For those 4 wrong answers, she would scream at them, she would scold them, she would tell them, Olodonieni, how come you scored 6 and you mixed 4? Sit down, read. Wow. They thought their mother could read, but really she could not even read their names. But because she was
Wow.
interested, what she lacked, she ensured that her children rather, didn't lack it.
Wow.
She was actually a tailor. And whenever they return home, I was there. So like I said, they were my friends. She would ask them, what did you do at school today? What topic was it? Okay, tell me about the topic. Because these children knew that their mother would always ask. The moment they get home, the first 1 hour, 2 hours, they make sure they study. And I do this a lot also with my son.
Wow.
He
Shout
knows
out to you.
to ask. Yes, I'm talking
Shout
about,
out to you.
sir?
Shout out to you then.
Yes. You just have to read. You just have to study. I
Mm.
tell my son, I say, see, Whatever your teacher teaches you at school and you understood it at school, you've only retained it for like 20%. If you must remember the other 80% of this lesson, you must read this topic at least twice. The second reading would give you a comprehension of maybe 50%. The third reading is what would take you to as much as 70 to 80%. So much so that you can recount, you can recall, you can repeat whatever those lessons are. They say habits die hard, right? Yes, so we must actively encourage ourselves as parents, teachers as parents. We must encourage our parents when they come visiting on open day, on PTA day. We must let them know the importance of reading, studying at home.
Wow,
It
thank you
cannot be
very much.
overemphasized.
Wow, thank you very, very much. Wow,
Thank
wow,
you,
wow,
sir.
wow. Wow. This is deep. With a tone of vehemence and a little spice of passion there in her voice. Mrs. Adebowale Ronke has just told us the importance of parental involvement, how that there is no way out of this. Anyone who is serving as a parent or probably guardian or something must be able to motivate that child, because of course we know that the children or the students spend more time at home, of course, just 8 to 2 or 8 to 3 during the day in school. The rest of the day spent at home, although the larger percentage of that time is for sleeping in the midnight. However, we know that these children are more involved at home with their parents, and so it's important that parents do their bit to push that child to get that book, sit their ass down and get some things into their head. All right, thank you very much for that. We have a question here, but I think I want us to skip that. It says, what role can communities, book clubs, and digital platforms play in promoting reading beyond the classroom? If you have something to share with us on that question, you can put it in the chat. I'm seeing from the chat that let me check that name now. Mr. Ola, please, can you respond to the question on the chat quickly? I believe the session is being recorded. I believe so. And of course, you can always get it on the Everything Literature YouTube channel. If just type in Everything Literature, of course, it will pop up and you'll be able to access this video much later. Thank you very much. All right, let's move on. Let's look at a few challenges and solutions. What are the major obstacles to developing a reading culture in Nigerian schools today? And how can teachers work around limited resources and time constraints? I would want us to take the first question, and then we go to the final segment for today. What are the major obstacles to developing a reading culture in Nigerian schools today? I think I'm led to allow. I think she's left now. She's left. Okay. Can I hear from Ayomitunde Olabi Davis? Are you online with us? What do you think are major obstacles to developing a reading culture in Nigerian schools today? Ayomitunde Olabi Davis. Can we hear your view?
Hello. Hello, good evening, everybody.
Yes. Good
I'm happy
evening.
to
Thank
be
you
here.
for. Yes, thank you very much.
Yes, There are so many obstacles that actually affecting reading culture in school today. One of them is unavailability of maybe you don't have the library.
Okay.
Schools are not properly stocked with books that students want to read, and
Mm.
that's one of the reasons. Because I remember that there was a school that I once taught, and because of the absence of the library, so we could not actually tell students to read um, on their own. So I believe that if schools can invest in funding libraries and getting enough books for the students, then they can
Mm.
actually, I mean, encourage students to read. Then
Thank you
secondly,
very much. Okay.
I believe that it has to start from us, the teachers. Like
Mm.
somebody rightly said at the beginning of this meeting, sometime during the meeting, that we have to be a model to them. So
Mm.
if students know that their teachers are very readers, they are very good at reading, and they can be
Mm.
motivated to want to read also. So let it
Okay.
start from when they see us reading all the time, they want to emulate us and do what we are doing. And
Mm.
apart from that, somebody said something today that I'm not really against it, but I just want to see it. I'm seeing from another perspective. The issue
Okay.
of maybe making students to read if they have done something wrong. I believe that even though it has a very good way of actually motivating students to read, but I believe that tagging it as a punishment might be create a kind of apathy on the students that, oh, whenever I do something wrong, my teacher will punish me by making me to read. Once they see it
Mm.
as a kind of punishment, it will, I mean, create that kind of apathy within them for
Mm.
reading. So we should, instead
Mm.
of calling it punishment, we can just say, oh, why don't you go and read a particular section or a particular book and come and tell me what you have read? So don't call it a punishment. I believe we do all this, we can get over some of the obstacles that are
Wow.
um, affecting reading today in the schools. Thank you.
Mr. Ayomitunde, thank you very much for that piece of advice and, of course, uh, re reshaping of the idea of punishment. Okay, well, I believe that Mr. Olatunji Femi um, was also trying to explain that we could just adopt that style, not necessarily let them feel like they're being punished for it.
Okay.
And I want to say that it's been a wonderful night so far. Thank you for that one. Major obstacles. I think one obstacle that we need to look into is the fact that students don't even know what to read. Students don't even see reasons to read. They don't. And in the case of reading to even have academic success or excel or reading for academic excellence, some students are natural cheaters. They believe that um, if the invigilation is not thorough as it is in some places, in some schools, and they can have their way all the time to dub what the other person has written, then why should they read when they can dub? And so, irrespective of the level or the volume of sermons they hear as to why they should cultivate a reading habit, they would most likely doze off every 2 minutes that they get a book to read in front of them. And even if you are able to create a pious setting or atmosphere for them to read, or you lock them up somewhere, or you're even monitoring them, they can have their eyes fixed on the book for a long time and not actually read anything because there's no motivation. And then what should they read? Should they go beyond their books, their school books? Should they read motivational books? What should they read? Those are questions that we need to answer. in today's world, in the context of reading culture, or with the issue of reading culture, what should they read and how should they read? That's another serious matter here. Those are obstacles. Some students do not know where to start from because the volume already disorients them. When they get a book and it looks, voluminous to them, they tell you, it's plenty, and that's all. Especially literature texts. I remember that big book, Wuthering Heights, Invisible Man. Those books, especially for art students, already dismisses their confidence and tells them that they cannot finish it. And so they rely on commentaries. And even the commentaries, they do not eventually read them thoroughly to understand what's going on in the text. So we need to also really help our students to see reasons why they should read and let them know what they should read. The number one thing that makes reading interesting is relevance. If the student cannot find the book relevant, or if he cannot find the significance of reading that book or the relevance of that book to his growth, he will most likely not read that book. All right. And then we can also create reading clubs around us. We can be that one to spark the fire of reading, great reading groups. Let students see that they are left behind when they are not reading. Let's make it look like a spiritual action that must be followed. All right. Then there's a second question there that says, how can teachers work around limited resources and time constraints? I want to pass through this. If you have answers to that question, you can just put it in the chat. Let's learn from you. All right. Now the year ahead. Remember that the sub theme for this topic is a year rooted in reading grows deep understanding. So we're looking at this reading culture in this setting, which is this year, particularly 2026. And this brings us to the year ahead. What realistic reading goals should educators and learners set for the year? I want to hear from Mr. Olatunji Femi. What realistic reading goals should educators and learners set for the year in terms of goal setting? We talked about goal setting in the first edition of this program, this weekly discussion. And now we're seeing it in the light of reading now. What realistic reading goals should educators and learners set for the year? You have the floor.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I will start from the teachers, then to parents, and the students themselves. So the reading goal for teachers, I think we should model reading habits. If we have not been doing that, I guess we should model it. And if it is weak, maybe we just
Okay, Mr. Femi, are you saying that teachers should make it a goal to begin to read this year? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Any affected
All right.
teacher should do that. Then for students, I think we should make it mandatory
Okay.
for students a book every month. Yeah. And
Okay.
they will do a review of the book, and they will get back to the teacher. And
Okay, sorry, Mr. Femi. I want to come in here. So
Okay.
now we have the academic books and we have other books. Of course, materials for short stories for pleasure apart from the academic books, and then we also have motivational books. We have spiritual books.
Yeah.
So what book are you? I want you to be a little specific.
Okay, I get.
When you say monthly, what kind of book are you talking about? Yes.
I think the teacher will also come in this sense. Now we can model books concerning based on the what we have, the academic ones, the pleasurable ones, the ones that will expose them to some other, maybe psychology. Model it with maybe we have 12 months in a year, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we can model it quarterly. Okay, the first quarter of this year, we are going to be reading academic books. The second
Okay.
quarter, we can read for pleasure, although the teacher will give them the theme. And then the third one could be concerning psychology or some other aspect of life.
Okay.
That's my own perspective as
Wow.
a teacher, though. So we can model it that way, or if it is just
That way.
yeah, exactly.
Thank
If
you
it is
very
just 3
much.
months per
Okay.
for each aspect you want them to study. So I guess that one will really go a long way for students to improve their reading culture. And as as parents too, we know what we are doing. We are the caregivers. We are the ones they will come back home to meet. You understand? So sorry. As parents, we must set goals for our parents. I mean, for our children, we must be part of their reading culture. As our mommy has said earlier, that if a parent is not uh, giving ginger, let me put it that way, when it comes to reading, when the parent is not calling his or her children to reading, I don't think such a child will really develop that reading culture. So, for
Okay,
teachers,
thank you
we
very
should
much, sir.
model. For students, we can do that for them, and for parents, we should
Okay.
also
Thank you.
put everything in order. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very, very much for that. In fact, our speakers have been wonderful tonight. I see a hand raised. Mr. Olawale Olagoke has something to say about that, but please, could you keep it within 1 minute? God bless you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, just to quickly contribute, to respond to what the last speaker said. So I am not a teacher, but I remember at work we wanted to do a motivation for people to work more often. So there was this app that we got where everyone would record how much they have worked during the day, and at the end of the week, the HR would come to give us the leaderboard of the group who worked the longest, right? But an idea just came, what about if outside of the regular books that students have to read, if there is
Yes.
like a competition to saying that, hey, you guys are in this group, let me know the more books you're able to read in a week, we're going to put you guys on this leaderboard and we'll be able to move you up. We'll be able to have conversations every week about the books that you've read. So this is an it is an extrinsic motivation, which then converts into intrinsic motivation for them to be able to read more than what they are usually supposed to read, meaning reading outside of classroom books.
Fantastic.
Into something else. And this initially it gives the vibe of, oh, I have to do this. But then if because they're not winning anything per se, it is just the psychological thrill that, oh, we are leading the board this week because I read this. I am contributing to my team to win by reading this. That just in a way triggers a new habit for reading for. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, very cool.
Cool and brilliant one. Thank you very much, Mr. Olawale Olagoke. I'm really inspired too. I think I'm going to go back to do some work. Mrs. Ronke Adebowale, I heard your voice. You want to share?
What he was sharing, because that I had in mind to share something similar to that. So as he was
No,
saying it, I was just nodding my head like, yeah, fantastic.
fantastic. So
Fantastic.
I think we can move to the next thing then, because we're really, really far behind time. So yeah, it says, if a school commits to one reading initiative this year, what should it be and why? Now I'm going to give everyone just to say a single word. I want you to skip the why and just tell us what it is. If a school commits to one reading initiative this year, what should it be? I would allow Mr. Olawale Olagoke to remain mute or to keep mute because he has shared something. So what else? What would it be? Let me hear from there's this sister I want to call. Yes, Sister Patricia Flourish. Please talk to us. What would it be? Or what should it be? Patricia Flourish, are you there? Okay. I can see Hilani Basirat. If you're
Hi.
yes.
Good evening,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Panel.
Good evening.
Okay, if I got the question right, if schools are to adopt a reading habit, what should it be? Is that the question?
Yes, reading initiative this year. What should it be?
I think
Initiative.
it would be getting the attention, any initiative at all that would get more attention, because the first thing that is needed to build a habit is getting attention. And
Wow.
sometimes it's hard because we're saying building more reading habit, but we don't also want to take them off the curriculum that they're going through. They have like a scheme of work for every term, so we don't want to take that away from them, but we also want to add to that. So we have to make it attractive. If I do this, it doesn't mean I'm not going to still do well in class. I'm just being a better person. So any initiative at all that would gain that attention, that would help them see that this is not going to make you bored. It's not going to take your social media life away from you. It's not going to make you like a nerd, but just, gain the attention.
Wow.
That would be that.
Wow. Thank you. Any initiative at all to get the attention. Wow. Thank you very much for that beautiful one. Do I have any hands raised? I think I want to go
Can I
that
say
route. Okay. All right.
inter
Can you just mention my
interclass? Yes, interclass competition on the assembly.
on the assembly? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I see that. I see what you did there. I see it. Especially because of course there's the crowd of people who will be exhilarated by their performances on the assembly. So they want to, of course, impress other people, and they'll go all the way. Thank you very much for that beautiful one.
Rewards. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. No other hands raised, and then I think we can move to our call to action. What is one simple action teachers can start this week to grow a reading culture? For me, I would say that teachers need to really stop this habit of I have other things to do at home, and they rush home and never get any reading done. I think it's unrealistic for teachers to find a space during school hours to read. Many things could distract, especially if there's no separate library for teachers. However, there's this after school hour that the teacher could maximize, that time when everyone rushes home and it's just you. I spoke with someone recently, a teacher of literature and English as well, and I called her around 6:30 p.m. and I could hear sounds of desks and chairs and everything. And what are you still doing in school? She says that's a habit. She stays back in school and she doesn't leave school until 6 or 6:30 p.m. What are you doing? I'm reading. I'm always reading. And that inspired me anyway. Teachers need to be able to create time where they can read realistically. All right. That's one thing that I think teachers should do. If you think, one thing that one simple action teachers can start to do to grow a reading culture for themselves, particularly, just raise your hand. I'll call you. The first person to raise a hand, I'll call you. No hands yet. 5 seconds left. Still no hands. Okay. Thank you very much. And then what message would you give educators and learners who feel reading is no longer relevant? I give this to Mr. Ola. Mr. Ola, what message would you give educators and learners who feel reading is no longer relevant? You have the floor, sir.
Which one of the Mr. Ola? We have two Mr.
Oh, we now
Olade.
have to Mr.
Olawale,
Oh, okay.
Ola.
Okay. I want to call Mr. Olamide, Mr. Olamide of Everything Literature. Mr. Olamide of Everything Literature. Are you with us? If you're with us, could you please take the floor and give us that message that you want to give all educators out there or learners who feel reading is no longer relevant in this age and time?
Okay. Can you hear me? Hello.
Hello, sir. We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Aroworade, for a beautiful session. Well, for educators and learners who feels reading is no longer relevant, it's more or less like feeling like living is no longer relevant. And you can't just afford to give up on life. I don't want to make do with the common slogan that goes on around that. And I will give up, fuck up, or how do they do it? How do they say it? I don't know. Just to be careful of our language. But we just have to know that reading remains the foundation of learning, critical thinking, and lifelong success. Yeah, we understand that they say school na scam and all of that. Or is it the irony that lies in the fact that they say readers are leaders of tomorrow, of which if you look at the leaders that we still have, they are still leading right. So there are a lot of social political factors that can make it look like reading is no longer relevant. But relevance in itself is first intrinsic than outward gain, should I say. So it has to do with how relevant you are to yourself, as simple as what's it called? The illustration Miss Ronke gave the other time of how a woman who could not read, or I don't want to say the word illiterate, you get now, but was able to live beyond the borders of our own shortcomings to say into it that I cannot read, but I can still read. And what is it that I can read? I can read into. I can aspire for more. We've seen mothers like that, like the mother of Ben Tassin, whose child feels like, oh, you can't do this. But the mother was able to read beyond what the teacher could not see. So that's just what I can say. For the learner,
wow,
you can read books like, what's it called? Think Big,
Think
by
Big
Ben Tassin.
by Dr. Ben Tassin. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olumide. That's just...
Okay, can I quickly add something, please?
Yes, please. Go
Can
ahead,
I quickly add that we as teachers, we should make a habit of telling success stories of readers to our students. It's a way of encouraging them to read. Yes, that's a way of encouraging them to. I do this a whole lot. I did it this very week. I do it often. I always tell the story of one student who couldn't read, who picked up the reading culture, and how that student was excelling. I would use myself, I would use my friends, I would use my students, my past students, and I find that it has a good way of encouraging the students that if indeed people have been reading, they've developed the reading culture, it's been working for them, then it can work for us too. So if we keep telling the stories of how I failed mathematics, sometime I developed reading culture to study mathematics from 40%, I moved to 60, from 60%, I moved to 70. If I could do it, then you can do it.
Wow.
Do you do that? So we can do that. Stories. Students love to hear stories, real life stories, inspiring stories, encouraging stories. That's a way of pushing them to also go beyond and above. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Ronke Adebowale. That's a wonderful one from Mr. Olamide as well. In fact, I must say that I am also a recipient of major insights shared on this topic today, and I think I'm gonna be better. Yes, as I apply these nuggets. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks to everyone who has spoken today. Thank you, everyone who has contributed one way or the other. Thank you, everyone who has stayed up till this time on the call just to get the full grasp of our full scope of everything that's going to be shared here today. We cannot overemphasize how grateful we are. I want to say that educators should try, especially in public schools. There are this set of children who have given up on themselves. They don't think that they can read and really help themselves. They think that the only way to survive is to dub what that other person had written in the exam. Some of them will tell you in Yoruba, "Ori mi o gbewe." Directly, they'll tell you to your face. And it's I'm telling you the fact. And it can be so if you are okay. And if you're not an empathetic teacher, you are likely to just laugh at it and laugh it by. But I think it's a public declaration that he needs help or she needs help.
Yes.
And such a child should be encouraged. You should pull her closer, show her how she can read, show her that it is possible. Let's do that in our little corners. And I believe that not only will the society be better, but even God in heaven will smile on us as educators. I want to appreciate you once again.
Can I just add?
Okay, I'm saying Kilani. I think I called you earlier, but probably you were not around.
I
Yes,
was
please.
not around. Yes. Can I
Okay, 1 minute. Yes, 1 minute, please. 1 minute as we wrap up.
I mean, I agree to be precise. You know, we are this rural side, and we have so many of them that are unable to read. Even in our senior schools, we have them that are unable to read. But what I did this time was to call some of them. They were being identified. I do ask whenever it's my time to teach, you need to just say something in my class. So I do ask, if you know you cannot read, just tell me. Me, I am this I don't know. Maybe I am scary. I do ask them, am I scary? They will tell me no, but I'm too strict. And it's not that I'm strict. I just don't want. I set boundaries. That's just so. They will tell me,
Thank you very
Mama, if I come to you, will you teach me? That why you should come? At least since you know your strength, you know what you
Yes.
can do. Please. In fact, I had to get cream primer for some.
Wow.
Yes, I got cream primer. Even my principal got for us as teachers. Then we did the little we can do. I have a colleague that she will organize class after school hours for them. For those, and they will start
Very
from
much.
the scratch.
Thank you very much, Ma.
They
Our
start
time
from
is
the
fast
scratch.
spent, Ma.
Oh, sorry.
From the scratch.
So they start
Okay,
from the
thank you
scratch,
very
and
much. So
that's
sorry
how.
for
Yes, no
yes. Thank
problem.
you
No.
very much. So sorry for interrupting you. It's if I'm very sure that Mrs. Kilani has a whole lot as an experienced teacher to share with us. But I know that we're going to have you also around further in subsequent editions, and we really want to drink from the wealth of your knowledge. Thank you very much for sharing that. Okay. All right, it's time to go. Please connect with us on app everythingliterature.net. It's there displayed on the screen, and you can also reach us on info@everythingliterature.net. and also www.everythingliterature.net. You can link up with us on our social media platforms. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. You can get our previous sessions on YouTube channel, and we hope that you have a blessed time and a time of learning. All right. Someone has said that if you want to hide anything from a black man, put it in a book. And I don't want that to be our case anymore, and that's why we have done this discussion tonight. And I believe we all have been inspired in our different places where we're listening from. Thank you very much for staying on the call, and I wish you a blessed week ahead. That's from Monday. Thank you very much, and thanks for the privilege. Thank you, our speakers. Thank you, Mr. Olatunji. Femi, thank you, Madam Ronke Adebowale. Thank you to Mr. Olamide of Everything Literature himself. And I think I need to say thanks to myself too for being available.
Thank you to you, Mr. Aroworade, for being a wonderful host this evening. Wonderful.
Right. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right. It's a bye for now. Bye, everyone. Bye.
It is next week by 7. Yeah.
Bye. That's great.
See you next week. See you next week for a new edition. Thank you very much. Bye.